money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
The time has now moved on to 19 hours 23 in Guyana. We're about to get the LALL show started. We do apologize for the late start this evening. However, without further ado, we get to the man of the moment with his presentation. And after a while, if he so decides, we'll accept the calls. Good evening, Mr. LALL.
Good evening, Kevin. Kevin? Sir. Trickery, insanity, and dishonesty has no end in Guyana. Guyana gets 50% profit from our oil. And our vice president saying Guyana owns nothing. Bernard? Namaste.
Namaste, Glenn.
Bernard, I did not get to sleep well last night. This insanity that is going on in this country and the madness coming out of these people's mouth is taking a toll on my sanity. I need a vacation. So, to all you wonderful people listening in Guyana and around the world, let me say this tonight. When you miss me, I'm gone on a vacation. I was listening, Bernard, to the evidence being given against Donald Trump on the January 6th insurrection. That madness going on right now by the US Congress, in which a couple of police officers lose their lives. Trump tried to use his attorney general and other officials to side with his lies about how Biden rigged the election and how dead and illegal immigrants voted. In the closing of yesterday's proceedings, Bernard, the chairman ended with a quote from one of the witnesses that testified against Trump, in which he said, and I quote, "Trump has theories with no evidence." You hear me, Kevin? Trump has theories with no evidence. I smiled immediately. And VP Jagdeo came to mind when I heard those words. Everything VP Jagdeo put hand on is his theories and his beliefs without any evidence. Trump will be charged and placed before the court. Any bets on that? And he will be charged criminally and placed before the court. And some of these people right here should also be charged for theories they come up with and no evidence. That is only creating debts. That is only creating debts and hardships for this country as the days go by. That's why some of them should be charged. An online media house working for ExxonMobil and the government says that Exxon is getting a lesser share than Guyana and the 2% is not recoverable. That's another theory with no evidence whatsoever. The PPP party took that story, uncle, and threw it up on their web page, trying to fool and mislead their supporters I had to laugh because their own supporters, PPP people, began to question that story in the comment section, asking for the proof or evidence. I am so happy, Bernard, that their own supporters is waking up day after day. Then, you guys know critic? Jagdeo Klung? Yes, he now turned a photographer and an official mouthpiece for the government. He jump up and say how LALL is not being truthful when he says Guyana has the worst oil contract in earth. That's what he tell his audience. Really? He said LALL is untruthful when I say Guyana has the worst oil contract on earth. Well, my brothers and sisters, listen to this carefully. I will give anyone in the entire world, including ExxonMobil and the oil companies, or even Jagdeo and the government, $1 million to show me one oil contract in the last 50 years that is worse than Guyana one we have. Is that a fair challenge? Mm-hmm. Good. Let's get going with tonight's program, Uncle. I promised Wednesday to continue talking about this robbery ExxonMobil and the government is doing to all of us with that no percent royalties Guyana was to get, which they're thieving back. Let me refresh your memory with the Chinese language Jagdeo now speaking to an English-speaking country called Guyana. You hear that, Bernard? I want to refresh your memory with Jagdeo Chinese language. He was speaking to Guyana on that 2% question. You have that thing? Just play it back to refresh them for me, please.
And now I can answer definitively because I've spoken to the GRA on the tax side. So because the royalty is not cost deductible, but it is GRA based on our laws, are GRA tax deductible, but not, they don't come out of the cost bank. So the contractor has to pay from its share the 2% royalty to the government.
Well, I don't speak Chinese. However, we carry the real story. What Jagdeo couldn't explain, saying the 2% royalty Guyana is getting, ExxonMobil is thieving it back. 2 full days later, since we carried that story, not a single word we heard from Ramjatan, Norton, Patterson, Trotman, Jordan, Jagdeo, or President Ali. All man Jack gone into hiding with that 2% revelation. Uncle and Auntie, tonight I want to explain a little more about this royalty. Royalties is a figure, Uncle, is a percentage agreed to by two parties that comes out first from the top of the total mangoes pick for the day with no cost attached to it. Let me repeat that. 2% is a figure agreed to by two people, and that 2% must come out from the product you pick every day, first and foremost, without any cost attached to it. Simply put, if the man picked 100 mango in your yard, before he left the yard with the mangoes, he has to give you that 2 mangoes, or whatever figure you all agreed to, right there and then with no cost attached to it. Bernard, am I clear?
Definitely.
Good. The cost to pick the mangoes So Jagdeo talk in Chinese language and said a royalty is not cost deductible. He is misrepresenting the facts. And when he said royalty not coming out of cost oil, meaning expenses, he is misrepresenting the facts again, uncle. I don't want to say publicly that the vice president is a liar when he said ExxonMobil paying the royalties from their share of profit, because the oil companies in their own financial statement for the last 2 years, 20 and 21, list royalties as an expense coming out from the 75% Exxon taking out every day before they share profit. Are clear there, man? Or should I repeat back myself? All right, what I'm saying there, Jagdeo is misrepresenting the facts when he said that the 2% royalty is coming out from Exxon cost oil. No. Exxon is taking out the royalties from expenses on the oil. I think I'm clear there. Did Jagdeo see? Did Jagdeo read? Did Jagdeo go through the oil company's financial statement to see that? It's very clear there, uncle. I have it in my hand. You have it there? Show it up on the screen so that the people can see it very clear where the 2% is coming out from. You put it up there? Thank you. It's on the screen. You don't have to read it now. You can go back and look at it. It's crystal clear. The 2% royalty, they're thieving it back through expenses. I come across some con men in my life, Bernard. I come across international gangsters throughout my lifetime. You know, but I have never come across gangsterism and con men like what is going on in this country now with we oil. I never come across skullduggery of this nature in my lifetime. You guys realize how much trouble this country in with this contract arrangement. And this man named Jagdeo knows all this and still approving more and more projects for ExxonMobil without correcting anything. He's saying, pump, baby, pump. Pump like you never pumped before. Thief, baby, thief. Thief the royalties like you never thief before. That's Jagdeo theory of your oil sector, rather than correcting the evidence that's staring him in his face. The royalty coming out as expenses, uncle, that is staring Jagdeo in his face, in everybody's face. And he's not correcting that. Thursday gone was a beautiful protest we had at Houston. I was very happy. I felt in my heart changes is coming as I was standing there in that protest line. Today's protest was even more joyful. Listening to the protesters chanting. Man, some of them said, Mr. Glenn, Monday morning we are coming back there until we get a change of this contract. That's the spirit I love. That's what I like to hear. Then we had some music, some drumming going on, and it gave me a moment to shake my legs. Yes, I had a good time. I am looking out for some more of you people to join the protests on Monday. And I am thinking in my mind, I will have to put a bed and sleep there until this insanity that the politicians going on in this country with come to an end. I asked the Vice President, when will he hold a press conference to talk only on oil? You will hear him saying, Uncle, yes, you will hear him saying, we will have a one-on-one sit down. And I said to him, I don't have a problem with that. I would love that. But I would prefer to hold a press conference in which you can have the entire media fraternity present. Just listen to him what he said. Could you play there? Thank you.
Yes.
The oil press conference.
Oh, you want me to deal with one on that?
Special, yes, sir.
A special. One on that. Why don't we do another sit down and an interview with you?
Well, we don't have no problem. But
Right, yes, yes.
I would have appreciated a full press conference in which you can have the whole country. On all the press. But that's fine.
They prefer, yes, right. No, but listen, but but listen. We have a duty to give answers. You're not going to all the time agree with the answers. But not because you don't agree, you don't appreciate that we have a different perspective. If we agree to that kind of conversation, we'd always be open and give you explanations. You might know.
I have no problem with
Well, that is what we'll do. We will give access and we will share our perspective.
But back to the question I asked. The field development plan and the field development reviews, which you said in Lisa 1 and 2, the $9 billion that a coalition government agreed, signed off, and did not verify or audit. You would have never done that, your government. There you go with the Payara, another $9 billion. You went ahead with Yellowtail, another $9 billion.
Oh, girl, you're...
One second.
Okay.
I'm not finished. You
Yeah.
correct me at the end. Now, these are monies, your own words says that Guyana is not equipped, does not have the qualified auditors to verify and to audit these figures.
But the field development plan is separate from the auditing of expenditure.
Yes.
So we're auditing now, we're in the process of auditing the expenditure, right? But it is ex post. It's not before it's made. That is how it goes. So the expenditure is made and then it's audited for veracity. And so that is happening now. The field development plan often is reviewed when you do the licensing. And so they have to submit the field development plan and you review that as part of the licensing regime. And then as they roll out the construction and the implementation, there is a reporting relationship. So as far as I know.
All right. You heard him, Uncle and Auntie, interrupting me without allowing me to finish my question. But I did get to ask him, Guyana sits with almost 30 billion American dollars from Lisa 1, 2, 3, and 4 at present. And the oil companies are taking out 75% every day. Week, month, or year for the last 3 years, we pump in oil without Guyana auditing or verifying that figure. He said they are open to give answers to the public. LALL will be waiting for this one-on-one on the radio, or we will be waiting on the special oil conference he will hold with everybody present. He said 2 weeks ago that the agencies that holding the mining contracts should release them. both agencies, GRA and GGMC, is refusing to release the mining contracts for us to see the deals. The head of GGMC, Mr. Newell Dennison, after I made contact with him, told me he is not in a position right now to release the contracts. And GRA direct us through a letter to the Ministry of Natural Resources that the headmaster minister is in charge of. This is what is going on in this country. They are hiding these contracts from us and passing the media from hand to hand because they don't want you to see how the foreign people fetching out your gold, diamond, bauxite and manganese and the benefits they are getting as to what the owners, me and you, are getting. Yes, they don't want us to see that. The vice president said we should request it from them, which I did. Immediately after, he said it in his press conference 2 weeks ago. Now, today, after 2 weeks, both heads, GRA and GGMC, sending us to the Ministry of Natural Resources. I wonder who the ministry gonna send us to next. You know anybody next, Bernard? Y'all see the games these people playing with your livelihood? Y'all see why y'all can't get an increase in salary? Why your children got to go to school hungry with empty lunch kits? Why you got to drive and walk on mud roads? Why so many people going to bed hungry when the night come? You really believe for a moment, Kevin, that Dennison and Godfrey Stacia don't want to release those contracts? I don't. And I will never believe those two men would hide those contracts from the people of this country without being given instructions not to release them. Kevin, could you please play back that tape and let the nation hear what this man's saying?
Yes.
The oil press conference.
Oh, you want me to deal with one on that?
Special, yes, sir.
A special one on that? Why don't we do another sit down and an interview with you?
Well, we don't have no problem. But I would
Right, yes.
I would have appreciated a full press conference in which you can have the whole country.
And now I can answer definitively because I've spoken to the GRA on the tax side. So because the royal...
you have said that you...
Yes.
The oil press conference.
Oh, you want me to deal with one on that?
Special, yes, sir.
A special one on that? Why don't we do another sit down and an interview with you?
Well, we don't have no problem. But I would have
Right, yes.
I would have appreciated a full press conference in which you can have the whole country. On all the press. But that's fine.
They prefer, yes. Right. No. But listen, but but listen. We have a duty to give answers. You're not going to all the time agree with the answers. But not because you don't agree, you don't appreciate that we have a different perspective. If we agree to that kind of conversation, we'd always be open and give you explanations. You might know.
I have no problem with
Well, that is what we'll do. We will give access and we will share our perspective.
But back to the question I asked. The field development plan and the field development reviews, which you said in Lisa 1 and 2, the $9 billion that a coalition government agreed, signed off, and did not verify or audit. You would have never done that, your government. There you go with the Payara, another $9 billion. You went ahead with Yellowtail, another $9 billion.
Oh, girl, you're...
One second. I'm
Okay.
not finished. You
Yeah.
correct me at the end. Now, these are monies, your own words says that Guyana is not equipped, does not have the qualified auditors to verify and to audit these figures.
But the field development plan is separate from the auditing of expenditure.
Yes.
So we're auditing now, we're in the process of auditing the expenditure,
Yes.
right? But it is a ex post. It's not before it's made. That is how it goes. So the expenditure is made and then it's audited for veracity. And so that is happening now. The field development plan often is reviewed when you do the licensing. And so they have to submit the field development plan and you review that as part of the licensing regime. And then as they roll out the construction and the implementation, there is a reporting relationship. So as far as I know, these have been done as part of the licensing, right? The field development plan. And then the cost is a separate matter. The cost audits are done separately.
I did not get to finish my question.
All right.
I was asking about the Lisa 1, Lisa 2, Kaieteur, and the Yellowtail.
Yes.
The cost and the review, the auditing.
The auditing is going on now.
We're talking,
So I said the last time, Glenn, when you were here, I said there was 4 months was given. One of your reporters, I
I'm
think,
not
asked.
asking that.
And
I understand. I'm not.
that,
asking.
and I thought it might be.
I'm saying that we have almost 30-something billion American dollars. Almost 10 years of this.
30 billion.
30 billion, this year's budget, this country's budget. And we haven't.
No.
We
Several
haven't-
times our
Can I
budget.
finish?
Yeah.
Can I
Several
finish?
times our budget. I'm helping you along.
10
It's-
times.
Right,
10
yeah, much
times.
more.
10
Yeah,
times.
much
I
more.
said
Yeah.
10 times. I said 10 times. And here we are. We are not even close to understanding that type of money in which, and I'm going to quote you back, in which 75% of that is being taken out as cost oil before Guyana gets its share of profit.
There are a couple of different concepts that you're stringing together that are unrelated. And that is why I'm having a difficulty. I can answer them separately, but the 3 concepts you've just put together that are totally unrelated and not connected. So, field development plan is one thing and total cost. So when you do that, then they go, they build an FPS, so assuming it's $10 billion. Then you have to audit that to see whether the $10 billion were actually went to the project.
Precisely.
So that's 2. Then thirdly, you have to you have to recover the money you spent on the cost.
Correct.
So up to 75% of the income goes towards paying back those costs, say the 10 billion, 25% is remaining to be distributed. So the field development plans are often done at the time of licensing and they're perfected a little bit later on as you go on. Then the audits are done after the FPSO is built, right?
That's what we're talking about.
And then we pay back for it. So those are the 3 concepts, the 3 things.
These are money that Guyana will never see, maybe in a lifetime. 30 billion American dollars.
But
This
it's
is
not
not
our
penny.
money. It's not our money.
Yes, sir, it's our money.
No, but if
So
they
these are
invest that, all right.
investments that these people are making,
Yeah.
are making, that you said 75% is coming out on a daily basis cost oil. So how is that our money?
No, but again, you get the 30 billion, and then you'll make all this money too.
No, I'm not asking about that, sir. Don't do me that. I'm not. You hear how he's interrupting you? 75% of oil money coming out every day to pay back that 30 billion American dollars that the oil companies borrow and say them spend out there. And Jagdeo telling us it's not our money, it's the investor money. Can somebody help me with this insanity going on in this country? Huh? Bernard? A man bring a combine in you rice field and every 100 bags the man cut every day, 75 bags paddy is going to pay, going to him to pay for the combine along with the expenses. Is who headache that is, Mr. Bernard? Eh? Isn't the rice field headache that, man? 75 bag paddy, money every day. Out of 100 bag he cut, paying the man bank. And Jagdeo saying it's not we headache. Can at least one member parliament out of the 65 we have tell Jagdeo to stop misleading this country? Please. Stop talking this nonsense and let him know that we went to school and that we understand business. How on God's earth our oil paying a man's loan has nothing to do with us, man? Huh? The more I listen to this vice president, I find it very difficult to sleep. To say that Jagdeo is a total clown or a donkey is putting it mildly. I refuse to believe that ExxonMobil telling this experienced politician to tell this nation that crap. And he's saying that with a smile on his face, Bernard. Yes, a smile on his face at that press conference. The man was actually making a laugh story out of it. Like it's a big joke. Could you continue playing, let the people hear him? I'm not asking about that. All I'm asking is that these people are spending this money here. And we, the owners of this resources, are not verifying these funds that are being spent.
No, but that's what I just told you, the audits are taking place, that's the verification.
But you, on the other hand, you're telling this nation that you were disappointed that we didn't have, or we don't have, people to verify or audit these things.
No, but that's why we're building, that is why we're building capacity of our own. We have a foreign group working along with a local consortium to do this. We have to build capacity
May
too.
I ask one last question? And then
One last question, yeah.
We are in a 50-50 business. And you just talk about that profit,
Yeah.
how it's being shared. Who's monitoring these expenses? Who is monitoring these expenses on behalf of all of us here, the entire Guyanese population?
We're a 50-50 business, not from a management perspective. So CNOOC, let me just, so you have a different view. So CNOOC is an investor. The Hess is an investor. Exxon is an investor. The three of them own the consortium. So then they hire an operator, which is a management firm. So even CNOOC, who has 25% shares and has 35% shares, they don't make management decisions. They don't make management decisions. And they own the 100% of this venture. They own 100% of it.
Is Guyana a 50%?
We get 50% of the profit, but we're not 50% of the owners of the company. The companies own 100% by these three entities that I just explained.
Hey, if this is not madness, then I don't know what is madness. You know, Uncle and Auntie, I play this tape for some of my staff to listen to. And they were like, boss, this man is confused. He's completely out of his mind. He has deliberately put a spin to the question I asked him, Uncle. I asked the man, Who is monitoring the spending out there in which we have a 50-50 profit arrangement? You hear how cleverly he is trying to evade the question to thwart your minds, uncle? He starts by saying, Sinnock, Hess and ExxonMobil got a management team that is running the operations in which the three oil company has 100%. Jagdeo Bernard is perfectly correct when he said that. But that wasn't my question. Who managed what? Or who doing what? That was not my question. My question to him was, who is monitoring the expenses for Guyana, in which we have a 50% share with them three companies he talked about. I didn't ask who managing the people business out there. I asked him who's managing our business out there. And we don't care how the shares are split up there, Mr. Jagdeo, and who owns them, Mr. Jagdeo. That is not our business. Is that anybody's business here, Bernard?
Not at all.
Exactly.
You want to know how much money is spending.
Exactly. Instead, he switched and telling me how the people are run them business out there.
And we know what we don't own.
Hear that? He switched the whole question I asked, telling me how the people running their business out there. Guyana is in more trouble with the gangsterism going on with this oil sector out there. Man, are you got to really wake up? Are you really got to smell the coffee with what's going on in this country? A simple market vendor can answer that question. Uncle, if you got a 50% share with David Granger in a cake shop, you concerned how many people Granger split up he half with? Huh? You concerned about who Granger bring to manage them half? Or you concerned about your half? Uncle? I don't want to hear about Sinnock, Hess and Exxon, how much shares they got in there and who they got managing their shares. I want to know about my 50% shares, which my government should have been managing to ensure we ain't get robbed. Plain and simple. That's what it is. Guyana got to manage its own 50%. You got to authorize and verify every cent spent in the cake shop, uncle, so that you get your right share from Mr. Granger. Instead, Jagdeo talking about our half. He going around, round and round, talking about the other side half. He mining Sinnock, Hess and Exxon business. Who run them business for them? And not running Guyana own business. The half we are supposed to be part of and get we rightful share. How you like that, man? Huh? Play on the other part, let these people hear him, man.
We get 50% of the profit. So it's...
We only get 50% profit of something.
All right. Okay. Yeah, but you got my answer there, right? Yeah. No, we don't. So it's just like a bauxite company. Say a company that comes in to do bauxite or anything for that matter. They come to Guyana, they invest, they own 100%, right? They own 100%. They then have to pay the tax at the end of the year. So they pay a 28% corporate tax. After they make their gross profit, they pay 28% tax, and then the rest goes as net profit to them. But they own 100%. So these people come in the oil and gas sector. They own 100%. They now there is a formula which says that on your profit, you have to give us 50% and you take 50% of the profit.
So how do one determine profit if you don't have a say in a business?
But how if we don't have a say in a private business, how do we determine profit? The GRA every year looks at this. Now remember, there are two audits. The GRA has an audit where they can audit for the things that, for that purpose that you were talking about. Then there is a separate audit which is determined by the PSA, which is the audit we're doing now. So GRA still has to do its audit, the one that you're talking about, to determine profitability. So that
Make it a little more simple, sir. I'm done. Exxon do an FPSO and give Guyana a bill for $1 billion American when they spend 300 million. They hand us a bill and says $1 billion cost for this program. Isn't that shortening our share?
Yeah, but why?
That's my question.
Yeah.
Who is authorizing
Well,
and who's okay?
no, but that is it now. So that is the ex post audit. So assuming they claim in the books $100 billion or $1 billion, but only spend 700 million, or inflate the price, the industry average is only 700 million for this piece of equipment that they claim to be $1 billion. Then the government in the audit, determined by the PSA, can flag that transaction and we can investigate the transaction. And should we find that this transaction here doesn't meet industry standard, then they can't claim that. They can't claim it. So then an additional 300 million, assuming it's true, then the 300 million goes then to profit oil for the redistribution.
So
All
that goes
right.
right down.
So we'll continue this conversation elsewhere.
The man cut me off there, and he end there. Uncle, the man said, no, we're getting 50% of the profit, but we are not 50% owners of the company. I told him, how could you get 50% profit for something that you don't own or being part of? Wait, man, did we sell out we rights there, Bernard? Because he's saying the people own 100%.
Yep.
Then what do we own? And why are we getting 50% of the profit if we don't have any ownership there? May I ask? Huh? Some business people has called me after listening to this program, and honestly, I don't have answers to give them sometimes. I don't know what they will say after listening to this program tonight. Please don't call me. I really don't have answers to give y'all. Jagdeo went on to talk about a bauxite company. If they come here and invest their own 100%, if they come and invest, them own 100%. That is correct, Mr. Jagdeo. You are correct. If somebody come and invest here, them own 100%. Once Guyana doesn't have a share or collecting profits, then that is very straightforward, man. Very, very straightforward. But Guyana also have an obligation to ensure that we get the rightful share of taxes and royalties from those bauxite companies. Not true, Bernard? We have to also ensure that the companies don't undervalue the production. So anyhow you turn it, anyhow you twist it, Guyana has to know about the business transactions. If not, Guyana will get robbed. Not true, man? You want to tell me Jagdeo don't know that, man? Huh? Jagdeo don't know that Glenn LALL can rob him if he doesn't check on the Kaieteur books with taxes? Huh? How I can cheat GRA? But to ensure LALL doesn't do any skullduggery with the books that will shorten Guyana's share of taxes, they have to double check my expenses. Not true, man? But LALL still own 100% of the Kaieteur News. If the government had a share in Kaieteur News, yes. If the government had a share in Kaieteur News, yes, or the government was getting profits, the government would have had to approve and double check every money I spent on every boat or not. And that's the question I ask Mr. Jagdeo. Who is checking the oil companies spending out there in which we have to get 50-50 profit? That is not games. That is not games Jagdeo playing with his country, uncle. That is completely sellout with trickery. ExxonMobil, Sinnock and Hess owns 100% shares in which they are supposed to pay their fair share of taxes. Just like the bauxite company and other foreign company investing here. But when it comes to profit, Mr. Jagdeo, we 50-50 profit. We own 50% of the business. This has nothing to do with shares, Mr. Jagdeo. This is the business arrangement. 50-50 business, Mr. Jagdeo. I repeat the question to him. How do you determine the profit if you don't have a say in the 50-50 business? Uncle, if you don't have a say, there will be no profit for you. And that is where Guyana stands with these morons in the oil sector. All he is doing, uncle, is wiggling and whining around like a buck top, giving an example of a private business in which we have no shares. In his twisted mind, he is trying to lead us astray by comparing a private business like Kaieteur News, in which Guyana has no profit whatsoever to get, with an oil operation going on out there, where we and ExxonMobil bear the burden of all the loans, all the cost and expenses to get we 50-50 share. How you like that, man? Huh? So Exxon out there taking out 75% of your oil up front every day, and Jagdeo say that that is a private business. You understand me, man? I also ask him, if Exxon buy one of the ship for 300 million US and give Guyana a bill for $1 billion US, what kind of profit we can get? And he went on with his Jim Cock bring round good story. You heard him, man. You heard him. 3 years now, we done got 30 billion US in bills. Enough money for run this country for the next 10 years. Nothing has been checked yet. More and more is being spent every day as we speak on the 5th project, the 6th project, and this clown telling us when we check and find skullduggery, then we will have to ask them for refund. Yes, how you like that one, man? They're going to check when the oil done and the oil company's gone. Brothers and sisters, my fellow citizens of this country needs a complete shutdown. And I will start sleeping on the streets in front of that shore base at Houston to bring these clowns to their senses. What you heard from the mouth of the vice president is not theory anymore. That is a very good madness or excellent insanity on how you're running this oil sector. I will take some calls. It's Friday. Please remember to turn down your radio. But before I take your phone calls, let me give you guys an update on the court case I have against the government. I brought against the government for allowing the oil companies to walk away with every drop of our oil without paying taxes. The government 2 days ago asked the court for extra time on this matter. They told the court it's a complex issue and that they need expert advice. So they are requesting an extra month to defend the matter. I wish they would have, could have, or should have seek expert advice and guidance on the oil sector that is going on out there. What do you say, Bernard?
That's exactly what I need. Definitely. 100%.
You care to take the floor?
Yes.
Before we take a phone call, go right ahead. The floor open for you.
Good
Go
night,
ahead.
everyone.
Yes.
I think someone needs to tell this vice president about oil business around the world. Oil is the biggest natural resource of any country in the world. It's not $1 million, it's billions and hundreds of billions of American dollars. Can someone ask Mr. Vice President Jagdeo which other country in the world gives away its oil to foreigners for free? Oil business in the world goes in two things. Let me explain. It goes two ways. There's what's called a PSA, which is the production sharing agreement between an oil company and a country. The other one is a gross split method, which is self-explanatory. It's the gross oil either comes up, it's split in whatever way the two countries agree to split it, the oil company and the country. So, why does this man say the oil company owns everything? No! Guyana government, the PS is a production sharing agreement. How can they own everything? If they own everything, why are they sharing it with us? This not only mad, this is stupidity to the highest level. How the hell can a vice president who is a former president speak like this? This PSA means a production sharing agreement. It's how we share the production.
Exactly.
The agreement that Trotman and Granger signed, all it says is after the expenses, the government and the oil company split the profit half and half. Now it's very simple. If you don't monitor the expense, how can you know what is claiming and what they're not claiming for expenses?
But Bernard, the gentleman said that we don't own nothing out there.
So why are they sharing the profit with us if we don't own anything? This is beyond mad. This is stupidity. This is pretensive stupidity.
Yes.
I don't think he's that stupid.
No, he's not that stupid.
He's not that stupid. He's pretensive stupidity to try and bamboozle these stupid supporters.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly
There's
what
a very simple thing. When any oil company bid for an oil block, he asks you whether $200 billion to spend, right? It's in Guyana also. When an oil company bids for an oil block, they are supposed to show that they have the technical know-how and the financial capacity to explore for oil.
Exactly.
If not, no other country gives an oil block like that. Suriname does it, Brazil, all over the world in Trinidad. When you bid for an oil block, you have to show you have the technical capacity as well as the financial capability to do before they give you an oil block. Anyway. Back to
Bernard,
this one. You want to take
I have a phone
Let me
call.
just finish this one thing.
Go ahead.
Quickly, Guyana is not getting 2% royalty.
That's clear.
It's very simple. Guyana is barely getting one. Let me just quickly show this. From the own government, from what Mr. Ashley Singh, when he presented the budget, he projected that Guyana will be getting 857 million from the lifts, from the 94 lifts. And if 94 lifts of 94 million barrels of oil, it's supposed to equivalent to 2% would be almost 200 million Guyana dollars, and he says we only getting 100 million. So we barely getting 1% royalty.
Yeah, these guys playing games. Good evening, sir. You're live.
Hi,
Yeah,
good night.
yeah.
I'm listening to your program, right?
Mhm.
And I see the vice president did not know nothing about no business, and he don't know nothing what he talking. And he should be ashamed of himself to know that what he telling you is nonsense. Guyana is 83,000 square mile. Anybody who comes to invest in Guyana, they should have proper things put in place. What you telling Mr. Jagdeo? Jagdeo know nothing. The only thing Jagdeo need to do is thief. That's the only thing Jagdeo know.
Hey,
And-
take it up,
and
take it
I-
up, please.
And I told you for
Hold. You gotta careful. You want to get a last. You want the people shut down the radio station, man. Huh?
Okay.
You gotta careful. You gotta be responsible what you're saying. All right. And I think you're smart.
The way how I see what transpired with this oil industry there, nobody in the government is holding accountability for nothing. And the question that you asked the vice president have no answer for it. So then we go be back like square one. We go run like Guinea or one of the African countries where we probably got to end up on we will be like a beggar suit.
No, I think I said I will have to sleep on a street to bring about a change, because you use the word Papua New Guinea. Man, we are, with what is happening here now, is 50 million or trillion times worse than Africa. When a vice president can tell the nation, we are set to get 50% profit on a business and we don't own nothing there, then he is insane. The man is insane. How can you get 50% profit from a business and you don't own anything?
We own the most
Huh?
important thing, we own the oil.
We own the oil, we own half of that operation that is going on out there. But the man put a swing on the whole thing, saying that Exxon own this, Hess own this, and the Chinese company own this, and them have a management team, and gone and rattly way through. Nobody asked him that. We don't concern who ExxonMobil have there with them, the Chinese, the Russians, or what. All we know, Guyanese know, we own 50% of that operation going on out there, and we are getting 50% profit share from that business. So we have a right to know every single cent spent out there. And this man he went on to equate a public business with private, and say that is a private business. A shareholding business equating with a private business, I should have said.
But Mr. Glenn, I heard he said that he got a agency from GRA is doing the tax now to find out how much tax Exxon should pay or how much the government should have now. They might do some. He bring in some expert to check it out.
My friend,
Now
friend,
you bring in expert.
no, my friend, the government. What I said, the government is asking the court for more time to seek expert advice. They said the tax case I brought against the government is complex, so they need more time to get guidance. And what I'm saying here is that they should have done the same thing on the oil sector. You see where they're going? They're going to seek expert advice to fight LALL against ExxonMobil. And them can't seek expert advice to ensure that Guyana gets its fair and rightful share. I just tell you guys for you to understand what's going on in this land.
But Mr. Glenn, the whole problem by along this vice president never give you no answer pertaining nothing here.
Exactly.
How much money, how much oil, nothing, how much money they coming in for a day, what is Exxon is doing, what is our income, nothing.
Precisely. Precisely. The man
So
keep on saying,
where we go with this from here now?
oh brother,
I mean, the
this is
Guyanese
why,
people should put.
one second, this is why I'm saying to you people, don't ask me, I don't have the answer to that. I wish I had the answers to that. I only wish I have the answer to that. Where do we go from here? How can we move forward with a discussion, a debate or a conversation in which you are set to get 50% profit in a business and your leader telling you that you not own nothing? I don't know, I'm confused. Thanks
So
you.
this part, thank you, Mr. Glenn.
Oh my God. Bernard, can you help that?
I'm almost speechless with that nonsense that came out of his mouth, Glenn. Oil is the biggest business in the world. Countries, the biggest oil producer in the world. How can it? Well, one thing though, he said Guyana don't own anything, but he's acting like that. By approving all these projects for ExxonMobil without ensuring that Guyana gets a fair deal, it's like he thinks Exxon owns everything and we own nothing, so he just has to go and approve everything. That's what he's
One
doing.
moment, Bernard. Good evening. Good evening. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're live on the radio.
Oh, can you hear me? Because my telephone is not so...
Yes, I'm hearing you very well.
But I cannot hear you clearly. You short.
But well, go ahead and speak. You're live on the radio, Kaieteur radio.
So, I want to say good night to everyone. And to all my Guyanese brothers and sisters. I came from Suriname 3 weeks ago. And I heard about the LALL show. I was following last year in Suriname, and I was so glad to come to Guyana to meet him. So finally today I met him on the parade
Oh, yeah.
that he had in front of, I don't know the village really what it means. But I want to tell this nation, we need to get out and stand up for our right. This country they call Guyana, it belongs to everyone that's born here. I want everyone to join Mr. Glenn of righteousness, because when I'm back home in Suriname, when it have like parade in Suriname, everyone go out on the street and join doctors, lawyers, police, soldiers. They join for Suriname. Why we cannot join for one Guyana? For a better Guyana? Huh? I want every one of my brothers and sisters who can do one favor to go and join Mr. Glenn LALL, because I think he's doing right. He is standing up for us. He's standing for this nation. Mahatma Gandhi stand up for India. He is taking the place just like Mahatma Gandhi to stand up to represent we all in Guyana for righteousness, for a better deal, and a better tomorrow for our children, even our grandchildren. Come on, Guyanese, be awake. You all are sleeping, and I want to ask this nation and even my brothers and sisters abroad if they just can take 1 week vacation and come and stand up in Guyana and fight for this nation to righteousness. Because the word of God said, righteousness will unrighteous be broken. We cannot sit and talk. We have to act. And the only way we can act is to come out on the field and stand up for our rights, for a better share, a better deal than what ExxonMobil. I'm not a politic woman. I am a Guyanese. I'm a citizen of Guyana, born here, grew up in Suriname, 30 years, coming back home to live. I find peace in my land. But when I heard the news and what is taking off in Guyana, I want to cry. Tears in my eyes and pain in my heart to want to know if I bring my grandchildren here, what tomorrow will be for them. So I ask him this nation to arrive, my brothers and sisters. I welcome you all back home. Just 1 week to stand up for this parade, because I hear everyone is correct on my radio come off, and I cannot hear my brothers and sisters them. But I just kindly ask of you all, come home to represent this nation, this country they call Guyana. We all are Guyanese. The Dutch, they fight for themselves, and they are all against Guyanese. Then who are we fighting for? Who are we fighting for? I want to tell my brother Jagdeo and understand, Toki,
President Ali.
what is he doing with this land? What he's doing to this nation? He is carrying this nation to hell. Huh? What are he doing? What is he doing to this land? What he's doing to this nation? This nation needs to set free. Huh? We need a better deal. We need a better tomorrow for our children and grandchildren. We cannot live like this. We cannot do it like this. When I look around, everyone don't have a business. You got to get yourself in a business. We are floating aisle. We are doing all kinds of. Jesus said in his word, he said he anointed our head with oil, and our cup shall run over. Surely goodness and mercy should follow us all the days of our life, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord. What about our cup is empty? Leaders of this country they call Guyana. We are Guyanese. It hurt me when I heard what Miss LALL is doing for us, and no one is standing for him. Eh? Jesus said in his word, if we ask, he shall be given. If we rap at the door, it shall be open. If we seek, we shall find. If we call, he shall answer us. We got to get by that gate of, ExxonMobil gate. And we got to rap at that door. And we got to ask for a better deal. If we all can do it together, it can be done in Jesus' name.
I hear you.
That's what I want to say to this nation. Arrive in Jesus' name.
I hear you.
Join our brother LALL and get a better deal and a better tomorrow for our children and grandchildren.
Thank you. I hear you. I hear you loud and
Thank you.
clear. Thank you. Thank you so much. Join us Monday. Join us Monday.
What time?
10
What
o'clock.
time?
10 o'clock. Right there where you stop off with the bus today. Join us there tomorrow, Monday morning.
Yes, and we are going to Exxon. We're not going to stand side of Exxon. We didn't come to the traffic that's running on the road. We come to
I hear you.
the head of the office. We come to the, I don't know what you call his name again, man.
I hear you. Join us Monday. Join us Monday. Join us Monday.
Okay, then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a great
Okay,
evening.
bye-bye.
Thank. Oh, I remember her. She is one of the protesters. She's one of the protesters that stopped. She was passing and saw the protest going on, and she asked the minibus driver, "Is this the LALL protest?" And the driver said, "Yes." She said, "Stop me off." And she came out there and stood with us until the end. She didn't even want to stop. You understand? That's the kind of spirit. That's the kind of fight come from a Surinamese, a Guyanese born, but a woman spent 30 years of her life in Suriname, coming home back now. She said, she told me she's listening to the LALL show from Suriname. That's how she know all what's happening in this land. You know? And it's so sad. It's so sad that the Guyanese people is not showing up or turning up. Good evening, sir. You're live on the air.
Yes, my contribution is good night to you and your
Good
panel to
night.
begin
Good
with.
night.
Now, I'm a born Guyanese. Our ancestors came here to work to develop this country, and I just want to know one thing. Who gives any government or officials the right that they can take the resources that belongs to each and every Guyanese, including themselves, and go and make a deal with people, and then have the nerve to tell the people that this thing belongs to, oh, they got certain secret clause in here, we can't let y'all know. What gives them the right to do something like that? Because these things, it belongs to everybody. And when you finish signing the contract and you insert the sanctity clause, then you come in and tell us that, look, there are clauses in here, there are things in here that we can let you know, and there are things here we can't let you know. Who gives you the right? This resource is not your own. You are simply, we vote for you, we put you there, you're an administrator of this country. You're supposed to manage the resource and see that the benefit goes to the people. You wasn't placed there to go and sign deal and then tell the nation that, okay, we can let you know about item A, but not item B. That's not right.
I'm listening. I'm
Right?
listening.
It's just not right. And there is something that, look, every day I get into argument with people over this thing that say, oh, I fall in Glenlalling and torn like Glenlal and all these things. But you simply try to educate people on some things and they jump down your throat. And some of the same people that are supporting these unreasonable and unjust agreement that these people are entering on our behalf, you entering into agreement on the Guyanese people behalf, but the Guyanese people can't know where you're entering into. And some of these same people that supporting it, one day they will feel the brunt of it.
It's like the contracts, the mining contracts that they're hiding. You must ask them same people that you talk with. Ask them if they know what they're getting out of Umai or Zinjin or Rusal or Bosai. Ask them. And ask them, if I were you, I sometimes tell them, I say, man, listen to the program and learn something, no, brother or sister. Learn, man.
Yeah, I save it and I just send it to people,
but
friends,
the
and
problem,
and so on, and I share it,
the problem, my friend, is that these people are so entrenched, so much in love with their party, their political leaders.
You
know,
see,
it's difficult to move them.
One of the biggest problems that this nation faces, and it has always been facing, is that as long as we don't see each and everyone see ourselves as Guyanese, we will never be able to hold anybody accountable, because if we just keep seeing ourselves as a PNC or a AFC or a PPP, then it's always a tit for tat.
Exactly.
How long the day don't come that we can hold hands, all 6 races, and say, look, we are Guyanese, and we as Guyanese will hold the people at the helm of our resources responsible. And we will question them and we will debate with them. And how long we don't do that? And they would never ever allow that to happen.
For the last,
I don't think they would ever allow that to happen.
Exactly. For the last 30 years, the PPP, the PNC, when they go in, they just go in there to fill their pockets. And they fill the pockets of their supporters, some of them. So when you talk about thief and skullduggery, you hear, well, that one didn't do it. This one doing it. What happened to them? They didn't do that.
Exactly.
And this is the kind of tit for tat that goes on in this country.
One day I was talking about the royalty and the taxes and so on, all the waivers and so on that these people get in. A friend of mine turned and said, oh, why you don't talk about the $18 million? So I asked him a simple question. I said, look, if I'm getting up and work every day to mind my family, but my neighbor, he sleeps all day, he wake up in the night and go and thief, does it give me the right to go and thief and justify it and say, oh, he just do it, it's okay if I do it? So if we keep looking at life the way, we would never be able to move forward.
Exactly.
One day I look at a press conference and the vice president, I look at lots of his press conferences and I heard him talking that, the Marriott Hotel is 100% owned by Guyanese. But yet, have it ever been displayed who the owners are? How can you tell me that I is a part of something and then in the same agreement got people that I can't know who they are?
Exactly.
So it's not 100%. It could never be 100 because 100% Guyanese supposed to be transparent. You can't get people that are on the lease or the transport or the title or whatever document you have, but I am not allowed to know. And then come in and tell me, the is all y'all own this thing. That's stupidness. Nonsense.
I went 2 weeks ago to Mr. Jagdeo press conference, and without any anybody asking him about the Berbice Bridge. He just saw me there and maybe he was shocked. So he said, let him take the opportunity to talk about the Berbice Bridge deal. And as I sat there and I listened to him, I can only smile in my heart. I want to, and I plan to, sometime next week, explain what he said and tell you people the truth about the Berbice Bridge. I was so happy. I was so happy that he opened his mouth and spoke. I'll play what he said so you guys can hear. Maybe I'll do it Monday or Wednesday. You see, the news is so much, my friend. You hear me? The madness is so much that you don't know where to start or what to pick on. You know? I try to choose the biggest topic of the day. You understand? So that people can get hold. And it's like tonight, I choose to talk about this royalty and this 50-50 profit sharing because that is the only thing Guyana depends on. You hear me? And when this man talk about Guyana doesn't own anything and we don't have no say in the business going on out there in which we getting 50% profit, then this thing boggles my mind, man. I couldn't sleep last night. I couldn't wrap this thing wrong. I couldn't wrap this thing wrong my mind. I don't know what the chamber people or the private sector people would say when they listen to this man. You know.
One of the most shocking thing I heard is when a few weeks ago you had a program on Dr. Vincent Adams called in, and when this man mentioned that he took $1 million from the IDB, trained some people, and he put them out there. That's police you have out there. And these people were removed. Well, then I said, well, if you could remove the people that are put there to monitor and to watch, well, then we shouldn't be asking any question. We should just accept whatever paper they give us and just say, okay, well, this is it.
Well, that is what Jagdeo is actually telling us here now.
You understand?
So the next thing you would hear, that the people who we got checking the oil coming up there be removed. Because according to Jagdeo, we're not supposed to be there.
That's the simplest question.
I should have asked him. I should have asked him. I should have asked him, well then if we don't own nothing out there, why you have people checking the oil?
Well, if we know nothing, these people giving us a gift.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
We know anything, but we get a little money from them. It's a gift we get in. Now, the question that you ask is very simple and very straightforward.
Exactly.
And I think one little statement from the Minister of Natural Resource or whoever's in charge could have just bring clarity to this. Is Guyana, is the 2% royalty deductible as a part of the car sale? It's a simple statement to say yes or no. I don't see why there shouldn't even be a debate.
You want to hear this one?
If you know that the people are not taking
Hear this.
just put a statement. Simple as that.
Hear this one. I deliberately kept this out of the press because I am so ashamed to tell the nation. My reporter texted the Natural Resource Minister Vikram Bharat and asked him a simple question. Is the royalty recoverable? You know what he said? No. He said no. Imagine I shame to tell the nation that. Your Minister of Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat, tell us that the 2% royalty Guyana is getting is not recoverable. And there I am holding the evidence on black and white in my hand, showing that the 2% royalty, Exxon taking it out as expenses. I am like, my God.
I see it in the paper.
I am like, no. That's not it. The minister that in charge of the oil sector is saying that ExxonMobil is not recovering the 2%. And I am having the document clear in my hand that says the people taking back the oil. So what do you say to a minister like that?
Well, show the nation.
At least Jagdeo talked to the nation in Chinese language. well, it's not tax deductible and it's not cost deductible, or it's cost, go around in Mandarin language to the Guyanese people. But here you have the Minister of Natural Resources telling the nation no, when we have the document clear in our hand that he was part of, that says the people take him back, thief him back the 2% royalty. What do you say to that?
Joke, right? You ever heard a joke with a man that was charged for attempted rape? So when he go up to the magistrate put him on $100,000 bill. He said, why so much? The magistrate said, well, attempted rape is just like rape. So when he go downstairs to pay the fine, for pay the bill, he take out the money, push the money, he collect the receipt and he pull back the money, he turn and tell the cashier, attempt pay is just like pay. So this thing with exam, right? Getting a certificate, but in pay no tax. The thing that I remember the joke is like attempt pay is just like pay.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Sir.
Good night. Bernard, I wish I could help. I wish I could help. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. You're live on the air. Our phone, you announce the number? 226-7453. 226-7454. Yes, good evening, sir. Danny?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
You there?
Yes, go ahead, Danny.
I have a participant in Westchester, New York. He's willing to bring a busload a week from Linden. I don't know how we could do this. His name is Emmanuel Joseph. He also makes several contributions to us already. So somewhere along the line, can we able to put a...
The phone cut off. Yes, yes, Gary. Yes, Bernard. 226-7454, 226-7453. You can use that,
Hello?
Yes, sir, the phone cut off.
Yeah. Is there any way we could get some participant up in Linden to bring a busload twice a week down to Georgetown for the rally?
All right, let's see how we can sort it out. Thank you. Yeah, let's see how we can sort that out. 226-7454, it's 8:46, it's Friday. Bernard, you sleep away.
Yeah, I sleep
Bernard,
away.
Miss Harris didn't come.
I know. No,
Joshua gave you up tonight. And like you sleeping away on us too.
I'm looking at if we're not getting any calls, you might as well close it off.
Yeah,
Early
you
night.
can.
It's Friday night.
I'm happy it's Friday night. Kevin? But I think I'm gonna sleep tonight's song because I get this thing over with and done with. It was on my chest, all along. This insanity, this man telling us that we doesn't own anything, but we get in 50-50 profit. Oh my God. Mr. Jagdeo, please, you can do better than that. You gotta stop doing this country. You gotta stop doing this country, the things you're doing. You gotta stop telling the people, stop playing games, stop misleading, stop misrepresenting the facts. It's staring us in our face. The contract there, the contract that you cost down, you have it in your hand. You know every piece, every bit of it. That is wrong. That's the first thing one has to know, Mr. Jagdeo. Whether whatever you are getting as a partner, it's being recovered. That's the first, that should be crystal clear. If you're getting profits from a man, whether the man can take them back. So you don't have to use Chinese language to speak English to speak to an English speaking country. No, man. No. And you got to stop doing this thing. You got to start doing the right thing. My question to you, you keep saying we can differ. There's no question about differ here. We have to be clear in what we are doing. You know those oil people, Hess, Sinok, and ExxonMobil. Those people must be having a field day when they listen to these press conferences and say, yes, Jagdeo, yes. Continue telling Guyana that you're on the right track. You're on the right track. Mislead them. We are like donkeys following a leader who is misleading us. With that, I say namaste. Have a great weekend. I love you guys, and I hope to see you guys Monday 10 a.m. at Houston on the east bank of Demerara by the shore base where the oil companies them working.